So I've been working on a new deck. A very interesting one that has been playing pretty well. I like it. Piper Chaos. And as you know, it revolves around using Mystic Piper, level 1s, playing defensively. So I want to deck profile that real quick and ask for some opinions. First up, 3 Mystic Piper. Should be fairly obvious why I'm running these. Quick summon, tribute it off with your turn priority, and then you get that draw. You have to reveal it. If you get a level 1, you get another card. Running a lot of level 1s, get lots of draws, put lights in my graveyard. Pretty good stuff. Kinka-Byo here is the second stage of when I get a Piper in the graveyard. Summon this, I grab back my level 1, either my... I can grab back a tuner actually, usually Effect Failure, and make formula, but most of the time I'm grabbing back Piper, tributing it off, etc. But anyways, I guess if you already know the deck, then this deck profile is somewhat irrelevant. Or talking about it is somewhat irrelevant. Triple Battle Fader, I think, is obvious as well. I definitely just dropped my cards. I'm running 1 Dark Arm Dragon right now. It's not testing all that great. It tends to sit dead in my hand. I'll usually win off of it, but it sits in my hand for way longer than it should. It's usually dead. Running a single Tragoedia. Tragoedia is nice, but I only like a single copy of it, because once the opponent finds out you're running it, they're going to be very careful about when they inflict damage. Sangan. I'm only running 1 Caius. I might bump this up to 2. It's very good, but you're not always going to have tribute fodder for it. This isn't frogs. Obviously Gorz. Wisel is another experiment. Pretty easy to get out if you remember that you got him in hand, which I tend to not. Very good effect. Basically, you throw this down in front of Rabbit, and they don't have a way to get over it, because you can just negate their Forbidden Lance and be like, lol, you can't do anything. Of course, if your opponent's running Synchros, then they're screwed. See, I mean, you can suck up their Shien, their Stardust Dragon, all kinds of things with this guy, and it is hilarious. There's nothing they can do about it, because they can't go to their main phase 2 in Dark Hole, they can't go to main phase 2 Smash the Ground, because of his effect. So, very good card. And he's level 1, Dark, works perfectly with this deck. It's just a matter of remembering, making sure that you have face-up cards on the field that are going to trigger him. Speaking of cards that have effects when destroyed, there's Dimensional Alchemist, which I'm actually running, there it is, 2 of. Alchemist is really nice, gets back removed from play faders or anything else that I'm removing from play with my Chaos cards. Works extremely well in this deck, and it's worth summoning, because I know I can get my Battle Fader back. Obviously, I'm running BLS and the double Chaos Sorcerers. They're just too good. I mean that's what the deck's based around. You have your play where you use up your normal summon, but then you've always got these as backup. And BLS just wins games. Double Veiler. Not running Triple Veiler, because instead I'm running a DD Crow. I like the mixture. I like being able to have the extra Crow running around. I would side a 3rd Veiler against certain decks. The format, Veiler isn't perfect, so I don't like running Triple Veiler. 1 Swift Attack Scarecrow, along with a Quickdraw. This lets me get Drill Warrior, 1 second, or as I like to call him, Gurren Lagann. He's interesting. I only run the 1 because it's sort of a one-of surprise, hey look, here's a monster. Usually make it with an already on board level 1. Oftentimes it's my Treeborn Frog. Other times it's my other something like a Battle Fader. Quick Draw and Drill Warrior lets me reuse Scrap Iron Scarecrow over and over and over and over and over again. Assuming I can keep my loop going, I keep using Scarecrow. I don't like how he gets Veilered and he gets crapped on by Veiler, especially after you just discarded, but I usually have the hand account to get out of that. Not seeing as much Solemn Warning, but Dolka does worry me, because they can summon Dolka during their next turn and just go, a Drill Warrior wants to come back to the field. Nope, negate. And that sucks, because I don't have a lot of ways to actually deal with that scenario, which means this is one of the first things I sub out when I go up against Dino Rabbit. Which, interestingly enough, I've never actually done. Spells. 1, Enemy Controller. I know a lot of people swear by Enemy Controller. I only like the single copy. And it works with Treeborn occasionally, but it is vastly inferior to Creature Swap, of which I run 3 of. Creature Swap is amazing. I'll never set it. Unlike Enemy Controller, I won't be tempted to put it face down. It doesn't necessarily sacrifice my monster, especially my Dimensional Alchemist, which is really nice to trade over to the opponent. This thing, I mean, it just wins games, because everyone's just summoning one big monster and leaving it there. One big Xyz monster, and then they'll just sit it on the field. And basically, Creature Swap just says no to that. It's really nice to go, especially if you trade Kinka-Byo over, because you'll get it back during the end phase. It's just a perfect fit for this deck, and it's a perfect card for this format, which is why I'm surprised I'm not seeing many zombie decks show up, because I think they'd be great with Creature Swap as well. Single Smashing Ground, 1 for 1, Foolish, Mind Control, Book, Allure, Heavy Storm Reborn, and then a pair of MSTs. Some of the spells are kind of out there. They don't really do a whole lot for me. They're not great, but still working on it, still testing a lot of choices, still trying to see where everything fits together. Probably going to take this out soon if it doesn't start being better. I need more darks. I feel like I have too many lights. A lot of the darks that I have end up sitting in my hand because they're cards like Kinka-Byo, or they're my Chaos cards, where they're not going to the graveyard, they're staying in my hand, and that's a problem. Which is one of the reasons I want to try to get Doom Caliber Knights. But anyways, that's my Piper Chaos deck. I'd like any opinions that you guys have, any thoughts, or any questions. And until next time then.